Hey guys, sup? How we doing? We have what will be my next build, and we have a long day of crafting ahead of us. So, for those new here that do not know, abandoned Dumblo, I still have Dumblo. It's still there. I actually have been moving back and forth between the two builds all weekend. However, one thing I did want to get done before the end of the weekend was I wanted this character to be done with campaign. That was my goal for this weekend, and I actually just finished that today before stream. So this character is fresh out of campaign, done with all the acts and everything. I do not remember if I haven't run a map from epilogue, but I assume that doesn't matter for my second character. I don't know. Anyways, so character is fresh out, doesn't really have gear yet. So my goal is to get gear. And I have to decide what exactly constitutes gear in this context. How much I can afford and stuff like that. As you can see, I have a mirror shard. No, I did not get that from King's March. I bought one. So this is our constellation mirror shard. I realistically just bought it in case mirror shards were to go up in price. Just kind of hedge against inflation a bit. That was the only reason. I mean, I'm not done with Settlers list. I still plan on getting my mirror shard. We are on our way. We currently have like 35 million value in bars, and the plan is that I will be sending a 50 mil shipment full of bars. I do not think it is going to be worth it, if I'm being honest. We'll get more tattoos and whatnot, but I don't think we are going to be. I don't think like the odds of us getting like a mirror shard increases, but again, this is a complete test because they changed the formula of King's March and we don't actually know. You know, there's a lot we don't know, so I am going to be throwing this, what's it called, this shipment into the pool of data, and that should potentially help the prohibited library figure out what's going on now. But there is every possibility they reduce the effectiveness of dust, and now by sending a 50 mil full value shipment, I will get more currency. We don't know. If it's based on last season, I shouldn't be getting more currency, but I should be getting more tattoos. Speaking of tattoos, this is down to 12 div. And because this is down to 12 div, I'm thinking maybe it's no longer worth sending to dexterity, simply because the big jackpot is gone. Meanwhile, the blues are still very stable, and like they have like 4 different expensive options. Even tattoos will give me a lot of stable income. Dex will potentially give me like 2 big tickets and like 1 okay one, and then everything else is just trash. So we'll see. It's not like I have a 50 mil shipment yet, so we're well on our way. And you can expect that mirror shard in this shipment. Mark my words. You just mark my words, it's coming. Anyways, so for this build, let me give a brief explanation of like what the build is, what we're actually doing and stuff like that, before we get into the nitty-gritty of like actually crafting and whatnot, because you know. So the idea here is, and keep in mind, leveling through the campaign, I have not been impressed so far with their AI, but the idea here is chaos golems. They are going to be the bread and butter for this build. Basically, we're using chaos golem the maelstrom, and the whole ideas around this golem is it has the aura that chaos golems typically have. This one has that, but empowered. So it applies a stronger wither. it does more damage. It has bigger innate AoE, stuff like that. So basically the idea is we're going to be killing with the purple aura you see around them. And like so far, the damage is there. I'm not impressed by their AI, like I said, because they keep making pauses even when they can still move forward. And my assumption for what is happening is actually suffering from success, in the sense of they have so much cooldown for their ability that they are throwing it on release, like on cooldown, and that's why the pauses are there. And that makes me think I might actually want to scale a bit of cast speed just to make that casting process a bit better. However, I'm not too bothered about it, simply because of two things. A, I plan to giga scale cooldown reduction on convocation. So, and by that I mean use cooldown recovery support. So, and have that on automation. So these guys will always be on my player character, and this will be down to a 1.5-ish second cooldown. So it should be manageable on that front. Shouldn't be too big of a hassle. And then second thing is we currently do not have the levels to use a level 20 anime guardian. We need to use a level 20 anime guardian, or level 19 probably, but like level 20, so that it can use all items, and I can't equip a level 20 AG just yet. So when we'll cross that bridge and we'll get to it, I need to level up twice. I think level 70 is 20 AG at least. Then what else do we need? This is going to be a squire setup. What I have planned is a squire setup. And because it's a squire setup, I'm gonna need to actually craft the wand, the 12 link that's going to match it. But until I do that, we'll see. There's a possibility we'll use a staff until we're ready for a squire. That'll be much cheaper, and should be more damage, if I'm being honest, until we get the squire setup going, because a staff can easily provide like +5 levels. +5 levels is a shit ton of damage, like actually a lot of damage. But again, these are all things we need to figure out as we level up. And one of the biggest damage multipliers in a build like this is obviously going to be our primordial harmony. And this is again why I think we're suffering from success, because these primordial harmonies have 19-20% increased golem damage for each type of golem you have summoned. So for in the end game, we're going to have 6 different types of golems. We're going to have fire, ice, lightning, that's 3, chaos, that's 4, stone, that's 5, carrion, that's 6. So that's one. If you're on a max, that's 120% increase damage for my golems for every single jewel with primordial harmony we slot in. That's a lot of damage. But that being said, it also comes with cooldown recovery rate, and therein lies the problem, because all the cooldown recovery rate we're going to have, this fucker is going to have even more cooldown on that scale. So like I said, I think that's where the AI problems are coming from. So we're going to be relying on convocation to fix those the jank that comes with that, essentially. What else of note? They scale really well with levels, but the important things I need to get done today is I need to get a +1 Spectre chest. I could actually do without a +1 Spectre chest. Like there is room for not having that, but if I can have that, then why not? You know, I need a +1 Spectre chest. I bought a squire. It was like 4 divines. I have a squire. I have my AG's explode chest already crafted. Very, very good chest. Gives curse, explode, and PDR. What else does an AG need in this economy? Helmet. What did we take for our helmet again? I think it's just a rare helmet, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I think it's just a rare helmet. We're going evasion ES on everything, which is why I would like. Oh wait, this is eye level 84, so we can't even use this yet. So we don't need to craft this yet. All right, run it back. I'm going to use a +1 Spectre chest, probably Evasion EV, that just has good prefixes, and I'm going to go from there. Speaking of good prefixes, okay, I did take this one. Okay. So today we're going to just buy a chest to just use for now. Helmet with +2. I am not going to worry about this. It's going to be the same as my chest piece because I'm not level 84. I can't really use these. So all of this end game crafting gear are gonna wait. I guess the most important thing right now is leveling up. So I need an immediate set of gear that I can use. And then the second thing is getting my AG up and running, because with an AG that's working, I actually can clear maps without losing my mind. And then third thing is I should consider buying cooldown recovery. I know it's on the expensive side, so that's like the only part of like that has hesitation for me, but I should consider getting this as well. I'm also going to be pairing this with phase run. I have the dexterity to handle it, and convocation. Like I said, the idea here is just cooldown recovery, and because I don't have it was either this or shield charge, but I don't skill attack speed, so like it would have felt awkward, so I just went with phase run. And because convocation is on automation, I shouldn't have any reason to break this up often, at least. And I still have Frostblink for ledges, so it should still feel good. Ideally, we'll have to actually see how it ends up feeling, because this one is a very feel situation here. We're also going to need to get an FNF for Elementalist, but like that's a worry for future me. Shit is expensive. Not going to worry too much about it. And of course, congregation will help us get to the golem limits that we are going to need to actually run all our golems before we get that FNF. And then past that, we either use just more Chaos Golem of the Maelstrom, or we use something else. The main reason for wanting to use this FNF realistically is less so the max golem, because congregation exists, and it's now more so the biggest thing for it, I would say, is resummoning, because I'm not fully sold on all my golems defensive packages, because they're not all in like setups that have minion life and whatnot. So like without it, like lightning golem is in a rough spot, ice golem is in a rough spot, flame golem. So like I want these guys to be resummonable without me having to like manually resummon them, because that would drive me nuts. And then secondly, AG specters, I try to actually make them tanky. So we have stuff like this anoint giving us some chaos res. We have stuff like yeah, in a 6 link, so they have empowered and they'll have minion life imbue. And of course congregation for the specters, and for the golems to just help them not consume unnecessary limits. Assuming it works that way, there's a lot I don't know about congregation, so this will be a very hit or miss way to use it. I expect that it's going to hit golems, see max golems, multiply that, and take me from 5 max to 7 max like it does with specters. I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, we'll have to adjust. But I didn't need it to begin with for golems because FNF, but just in case I do, then you know we'll end up running FNF instead of congregation. We'll also use congregation for the specters because 7 specters is big. Specters of choice, obviously these 5 are pretty dope. We have, for the skill in question, this is the awkward part about scaling Chaos Golem of the Maelstrom. It is a chaos dot, but it is not an ailment. So things like deadly ailments do nothing for it. Things that would scale ailment, unbound ailment, does nothing for it. However, like I said, it's a dot, so something like Swift Affliction, which provides more dot damage, will work excellently for it. So this brings us to the fact that there aren't too many specters that we actually can use that are helpful. We can use Malevolence and Zealotry specters, but they have worse auras than the player would, and I do have some aura effects all over the place. So, you know, my aura is obviously better, and I can also pair them with Generosity, which also gives aura effects. So I'm very happy with them just being my auras instead of specters. So we instead opted for like many defensive specters. There are, however, 3 DPS specters here that were actually like 4 here that still ended up being decent DPS specters. Carnage Chieftain, actually, let me start from the best. The best isn't actually on this list. It is Perfect Hawking Miscreation that would inflate my damage. So I have it here for average damage, just so I can get a better idea of what my average moment-to-moment DPS is rather than the highest DPS it would be. But Hawking Miscreation is here. And then I would say the second one is probably going to be Carnage Chieftain because Resi charges are really big. Forest Warrior for the Calling Strike. The cast speed should also help, you know, with the AI issues we mentioned earlier. If Convocation isn't the solution, I hope it is. And then we have Gilded Arak for 20% increased chaos damage, well, with 50% uptime, so 10% average. But Gilded Arak isn't supported by POB, so I have to manually add that here. Speaking of, I could actually just do this. Okay. Anyways, but that's the general idea. Now for Ascendances, we had 2 options we could go when it came to Ascendances. We could either go Occultist or go Necromancer, and these 2 are very interchangeable with how I wanted to run the build. For the longest time I was on Necromancer, and I only recently did I switch Occultist just because it edged it out a tiny bit in damage. Like when I say a tiny bit, this is like maybe 18 point something mil. Currently this is 20. Actually, this would probably be closer to 19 at this point, because we're going to take this more damage and this more damage, and those 2 basically balanced out to being more damage than Void Beacon. However, because you're able to get an additional curse and some shenanigans with AG set up, we're able to use punishment on our player character. And because we can use punishment on our player character and still have enfeeble on our AG, that just makes it so we have punishment curse, and punishment average damage is like 24% when we have Calling Strike. So it ended up being a bit more than Necromancer, but Necromancer is stronger defensively, so there's also that. If I wanted the tankier setup, I would be going Necromancer 100% because there's no getting past the physical damage reduction from Bone Barrier. It's just too good. And then the Leech might help a bit. And of course, that's Minions gain life, means I don't need to anoint this, which means I can anoint something else. I have not thought how that anoints, but something else. Maybe even Charisma, and then I would have gone... what's the name of that thing? Aspect of the Spider, maybe. Or even Skitterbots. Actually, I don't have link space, so probably Spider. But that's the TLDR. So our priority right now is getting higher leveled, so we can use our AG. That's our immediate priority. So we have 2 options here. We either Blood Aqueduct until we're there. That's the slower but less brain activity going into it way we could do it, or we could actually try to even out my character and run maps, starting with getting a 6 link. That being said, I should check the level requirements of also. Let's just run AoE, shall we? And then I almost forgot, a very big like core part of this setup is going to be the explode coming from the AG, and it's going to be, we have very many different explode sources that I am looking forward to having on my AG. So we'll see how it all pans out. Clear wise, this is going to be a very clear speed oriented build essentially. I just need my AG to actually apply the curses with his explode, and we're on our way to doing that once we can actually equip him with, you know, the gear without finits. You know what I should use? I should use a Witchfire Brew in Blood Aqueducts. That'll speed shit up a lot. I do believe I have a Witchfire Brew in my stash. There we go. So this will serve as an in-between for before we get our AG up and running.
Exile, you are a welcome omen.
First ping, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? So we have one more level.
Great job, Exile. I now will take the captured beast to the menagerie.
The one thing I am still thinking about in terms of quality of life is Replica Dragon Fangs is more damage because we can get this to +4 if we use the Volatile Valorb, and it shouldn't take too much RNG because the 4 doesn't have a roll range, so it literally just has to hit 1.2 once and you get +4. However, and this is the bigger problem with this guy, if I go Ashes, like if I switch to Ashes, I lose damage, not as much as it looks like because this goes to 50. So like I lose like 2 mil DPS, but even better, Convocation now gets even lower CD because all of a sudden Convocation has more quality and its quality is CDR. Automation has more quality and its quality is CDR for the assigned skills. And you know, phase run also I think would get better uptime, but I think phase run is duration, not its movement speed. So we get faster with phase run, you know, but we also get better uptime because automation gets more CDR. So there's that. So this is more quality of life, and then Replica Dragon Fangs is more damage. But the best part is, in the long run, I would say they are very interchangeable. And if I wanted to, I could have it as a swap for a single target if I wanted to do. So we need one more level. We also need to figure out how we're going to swap this tree to be closer to my POB tree without trolling essentially. Nothing special, just you don't sleep and you're trying to find a good build for the league. Bro, what? Yeah. What builds are you considering? Are you a Minion exclusive player or do you play anything? Are you just looking for something? This league might be the first time in a while that I actually run in what's it called?
When I'm ready.
Actually roll a non-minion build. Unironically. Because like before I started stream, I got very intrigued by Honestly, I got very intrigued because I've always been intrigued by it. But blood-soaked banner, I'm very curious as to what I could do to scale that skill's damage. And I have ideas for what I could do, but I've always liked corrupted blood, and if I can apply corrupted blood with just dropping a banner, I think that's a build I can play. So that might end up being my next build. It's going to still have minions, or at least the goal is to have minions on it, because I'm a minion Andy, and I like, even though my minions aren't going to be there for the damage, I would want to still incorporate minions in a non-minion build all the same. It's going to be a challenge though, that's for fucking sure. Because I plan to use specters, and I plan to potentially use an AG. AG is on the tougher side to keep alive, because specters, I can pick a tanky specter, but AG will need a specific anoint that I probably can't afford to use. Maybe I can, maybe I can't, but he needs a specific anoint or the setup I have in mind. And unless I give him, if I don't need an explode AG and I can go explode myself because it's a self-cast build, I could technically use his chess piece to anoint. No, but that. I could give him Corrupted Soul. Doesn't Corrupted Soul do exactly what I would like? What does Corrupted Soul do? Gain life as extra. Yeah, I can give him Corrupted Soul. He's not going to have ES, so like this is the non-issue. So I would just need to give him. Oh, never mind. He can't use this. He definitely can't use this one. Ah. I can give him a Skin of the Loyal. No, Corrupted Soul is a Val. It comes from Glorious Vanity, so no, can't do that. I have to cook a bit more on that one. Figure out what I want to do there. But I need to give him ES. If I can give him ES, then I can give him Mask of the Stage Demon. If I can give Mask of the Stage Demon, then he has good regen, and I just need to focus on levels, because I plan on having them being a 6-link and having my banners being second 6-link, which is my DPS, right? So if they're in a 6-link, they're going to have minion life, minion life, empower, elemental army, congregation, so I can have more specters, and potentially eclipse, maybe not. Eclipse would actually be really good for specters too. Eclipse would be really good, but that would then promote supreme ostentation, because the attribute requirement is ridiculous on that. Not looking for a specific build, but I'll try the build you have now. My current build, like this new one, this is a very experimental build, and it might end up being shite. Like, I haven't shared the POB really, because like I said, it's very experimental, very experimental. But if you mean like one of my other builds, I do have my spreadsheet in the description for Dawnblow, for has Wretched Filers, he has Absolution. Those are more tried and true builds that I made for this season. But this one, this is a I want to make this minion work, let's make it work type build. It's going to be good for, like, really good for clear, like really good for clear. But I suspect, like, you know, single target won't be as rounded, and defensively, granted, this is unbuffed phase maxes, which is not bad. No mage blood, can't use a mage blood. So like, it's fine, but it's not the tankiest build by any stretch of the imagination either. So it's a nice for fun build. If you're looking for a for fun build, maybe after we test it a bit, just to make sure there's no very glaring issues in this setup, then I can potentially share the POB. At least that's the plan. Kill this rare, please. There we go. Okay, it's time to get a 2020 AG. AG is meant to have what? Spectre, I can actually get my, what's it called? I can get Minion Life from my Spectre. That's not too big of a deal. We'll lose one level, but like that's fine. So AG, we can go for a 2020 or a 2120. Doesn't matter too much. I feel like I should have an AG that's 2020, but I also think that might be, I might just be using that to my main character. Yeah, I am. All right, in that case, let's get it. That would be, now we have the chest piece. We need the helm for regen. And we need the anoint. So we need to get ashes as well. Because ashes is what I'm going to start with. So anime guardian 20. Ideally 20, because why not? No. We're not using any imbued gems, please. Regular corrupted 2020. How much is it? 21. Okay, so we're going for a 2020. All right, so that's one of them. AG is ready. Now for AG's perfect, then when it's ready, I'll try it. Looks fun to play minions. I can say that minions are very fun when they don't have AI issues. When they do, it's hit or miss. These golems, they look like they're fine. They're probably fine. And when it's all said and done, the AI issues will will actually be non-issues, but just keep that in mind. But in any case, whenever it's ready, just ask me what I think about it, what the cons of it specifically are, and just so you know if it's a good fit for you. Hey, minion boys are very fun. I love them. I would have to love them to play them non-stop, to be fair. So we can use this. We have level 70. Cool. He needs a helmet. He needs a Mask of the Stitched. If I were to get a Mask of the Stitched, that will cost me my mirror shard. Right. Let me just real quick. How much are you Mask of the Stitched? Last I saw was like 17D. 16. So yeah, it is going down in price overall, so that's good, but like it's still very expensive. So let's do some liquidating, shall we? We have a fair bit of unliquidated stuff that we can try to get rid of. Mirror shards are how much now? I bought them at 27, so yeah, I would be getting like 7 div profit if I had to sell it now. Ooh. Wait, what? Boundless Realm? When did I get this? Hold up, who the fuck is price fixing this? What the fuck? This is Boundless Realm? Yo. Shit is most definitely not divine. What the fuck? Who is price fixing? I'm curious. Let's see. Is it here? No. Must be on regular trade. That's annoying. Anyways, Bloodlines is an easy sell.
I should raise my fees.
Valdos. Connections. How many connections do I have? 34. When did these guys get expensive? 34, all going for about 30 times 34, 1020.
All in order. I'll let you know.
Cool. Sold many of them already. Holy. I would not have guessed that. Then there's Blasphemy. I have 32 of them. $15 or $14. Yeah, this is fine.
Make it happen.
Resurgence. How many do I have? 25. You're going for 15 a piece. Start my notifications to keep up with the build. Happy to have you. Who next? Arongoi Shaman, which is this guy, is going for 485. Sure.
All in order. I'll let you know.
We can sell these guys for a divine. Grand Eldritch Embers. 40 for a div. 38.
We'll make it happen.
Who next? Scours. I have a shit ton of Scours. I have a shit ton of Greaters as well. How much is the divine worth? 156. What is that in chaoses? Yeah, it's way more worth to sell this in divines. 156 times 2. 312.
All in order. I'll let you know.
Then what else do we have to want to sell? Nova Mark. And once we sell everything here, we have 19 of them. Yeah, slow stuff for 22. I think actually I want to slow stuff for 22. So 22 times 19 is 418.
We'll make it happen.
So with all of this being done, let's buy some divines. We'll buy 10 divines.
I'll put the word out.
Boom, 18. So we can afford, now that we've done some heavy liquidating, we can afford Mask of the Stitched. Well, let's also click this to be sure. I mean, not to be sure. I know I can. But if that is going to eat the cost of Mask of the State without needing to liquidate, that is huge for me. Holy Mask of the Stitched. Jesus, this guy's printing them. You know, I've always wanted to potentially farm Alva simply so I can do that as well. As a minion player, there's always been that part of me that's just like, I could do it. I don't really have the Alva experience to do it. I have an idea for how you do. You would want specific rooms in your temple, and then you run set temples, or you buy temples that have that room, and you just spam them until, because it weighs the architect into dropping the oil. The oil? I forget what they're called, but like oil that you need, and then nope, I do not. No, I haven't touched FF this league. Do not have them. All right, so we have helmets, we have chests, we have boots. We need grave binds with enfeeble, and we need, that's glove. We need weapon. Weapon is going to be tricky. I would like an explode weapon. It's actually not tricky at all. So let's go explode. One-handed melee. Explode implicit. Could give him a clock, could give him a mace, all the same. I'll give him this because I can still craft it. I would like to enchant it with AoE.
The dog is in the hen house as a commoner.
I'll enchant it with
you might.
ooh, 2 extra divines. I'll take it. $5K purple. Oh, of course. Why wouldn't it be? You know, let's see something. 5K purple or 1 divine is this. What is it in chaoses? Yeah, I suspect that it's more expensive. So I'll just do this.
Well, make it happen.
Oh, okay, we're just going to slow by then. It's 10,350.
I'll put the word out.
We'll slow by it. Then we'll put AoE on this. Might as well quality it now. Yoink. And then here, was there any essence that mattered? Basically just attack speed, right? Because increased fizz does nothing on this because it's a local modifier. Global increased fizz would, but this is not where you'd find that. Let me see, quality on body armor. Is there any of these that matter to him? No. None of them matter. Now for a shield, we're gonna need, well, let's slap this with life per enemy killed is okay. We'll get an essence, attack speed, so 0.
All in order. I'll let
I don't think anything I put on this thing matters. But I'll just go through everything just to make sure. Just to doubly confirm. Poison on hits is actually probably decent because it's going to be phase damage. So if the explode poisons, it's going to just tick for a bit more. It's not going to be important though. Wait, but then the one from my ascendancy though also is that guy is also going to be chaos damage. And so long as it is chaos damage, it can also poison. So any of the explodes can actually poison, and both of them can actually poison. It's, again, more min-maxy than anything, and it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But, I lose nothing by doing it. This is extra chaos, though. It helps for the explode on the weapon and his chest, but it doesn't help for the other explode, whereas poison helps for both. Okay, I think this is fine. There isn't really anything else I want on it. Then we need to get a shield and gloves. So for shield, I guess a good start would be figuring out what corrupted implicits matter on it. I'd imagine block chance would be good, but that's probably about it. Where is it at? Reduce area damage taken from hits. Increased life is not bad. Block is whatever. He's not max block anyways. I think our best bet is 6% increased life. I think that would actually boost his health a fair bit. Yeah, I think 6% increased life makes the most sense. So replica Victarios. Increase life implicits. And then we'll go for a max roll if we can. What do you mean no results found? Isn't this... Yeah, increase maximum life. Why are you not implicits? Nothing. Huh. All right, we just go for replica Victarios then. Let me see what implicits we have available, I guess, would be a good start. So we're going to use a not early res implicits. And we'll see what implicits show up. Socketed, socketed, socketed. These are the only 3 people. Alright. In that case, we just go with early res and then we prioritize. We will prioritize life here. I don't need the lightning res, but I'll take it anyways because it feels like I'm getting more bang for my buck, even though I'm realistically not. Next up is Grave Bind. We enfeeble on hits. Enfeeble implicits. Should be like Diviner 2. Ooh, even cheaper. Prioritize the chaos cost. Chaos res because it's relatively important. We get that. Screw a divine. I'm gonna take this one. Maybe even this one. Wait, what? It's not instant trade. Okay, we take this guy then. Lose 1% chaos res, but it's fine. Ooh, Ellie weakness. It's that expensive? Sheesh. Convert to divine.
All in order. I'll let you know. Enjoy that. What are we shipping?
Sheesh. That was quick. Okay, everything is fine. Gloves, boots, chest, helm, weapon offhand. Everything is set. Everything is qualitied. Do we have any enchants we're not thinking about? You already have your AoE enchants, like we're chilling. Poison on hits, potentially helping. AG's ready to go, level 20. I think we're ready. I think we're ready. Okay, let's start with the cheap parts. Just making sure. Give me a quick second. All right, I'm back. Where were we? They have shield, boots, weapon, grave binds. Now for the two expensive pieces. Cool. Now we have our AG. We need ashes. Ashes come next. We're going for max quality. Holy, 37% is going for 190. I actually forgot that this was a possibility. All right. My fault, my fault. Let's just go 30 like the humble people we are. Just give me 30%. I'm not greedy. 30. So I don't think I want it corrupted because it makes enchanting it or anointing it more expensive. 580 chaos is less than 2 divines. Yeah, it's less than 2 divines. All right. Because 2 divines is almost 600. 580 is slightly below that. Is it worth it? Yes, it is. Because I save... Because I end up... Wait, it's 582, so it's basically 2 divines. But I end up saving on the tainted oil, so... kind of works out. That being said... Yeah, we're just yoink it. Where are you at? 6. It's gone? Sad. I guess now we have to go for the 600. Or go for any of the 2 divines.
It's a gilded wonder.
I just realized I could drop this wheel, go for Death Attunement Anoint, and then pick this up manually and have my minions be tankier as a result. Because it's less points to get here, and they get more Chaos Res. That is something I could actually do and save a point. But in the process, I do lose 500k damage, which is still 500k damage. So, this mastery can always just go there. It's not too big of a deal. Nah, we'll see. That is something I can keep in my back pocket just in case. I need Sepia Violet. I have Sepia, I just need 2 violets.
All in order. I'll let you know.
Then we slap this on for the all attributes. How much dex do I currently have on this character? Cool. Everything is fine. This gives my AG regen officially. What else do we have going for us? What else is imperative we get? I have a squire, so I don't need this wand immediately, so to say. Like, it's not I need it now. Like, I can do with just a regular wand, a regular high minion damage wand, or even +2 minion wand. I can go for a staff all the same. If I go for a staff, the only problem is getting a 6 linked. That'd be more expensive than just going for this one, because this one all it takes is throw alt spam until 40% more spell damage, alt spam until efficacy, and then Awakener Orb. Lock Awakener Orb, see if there's an open prefix, and then you can craft +2 on that. And alternatively, you can keep repeat that process until you hit area of effect. That is everything that is this wand. It's nothing too crazy, but the area of effect will cost more than just going for the 3 prefixes. The 3 prefixes should be relatively cheap depending on how much lock beasts are. I think Black Morgana would be the expensive part of that recipe, but I can't imagine Craycake Chimeras are too expensive. We have gotten to the point in the league where people are probably imprinting and trying to craft synthesized shit, so you never know. But anyways, so that is going to be the next step. Get my squire, or use my squire. I do have the levels to use, so that's fine. Past that, I need a 6 link with +1 to max number of specters, so let's prioritize that. Clear max specters. Any non-unique body armor. I don't think this would come 6 linked, so I'll probably have to 6 link it myself regardless. But I do have to find a good base that has everything I want. Like, this is pretty decent. Life. So it's that pretty decent life. I'm going arm evasion ES. Something like this. What is your life? Oh, this is trash. This is trash. Crypt body armor. Implicits are increase EV. And then flat ES. Required level 70 maximum, because I can't really use more, and past that I'll probably be I definitely don't have the evasion for this. Is a big problem with this one. This one I probably have the strength. It's not that much strength. We are going either no life or big life, and there is no in between. I guess what we could also do is we could just ignore max specters for now and prioritize getting a 6 link. And then go for max specters later on, and then buy the specters we need. So let's start there actually. 6 link, requirements, dexterity int. It doesn't need max specters. Let's say 50 chaos budget. Probably should have more leeway, but let's prioritize that. And let's just go for EVES that is not corrupted. We can start with something like this, actually. But it has life. It has low life. Which I could use, and if chaos, if corrupted, find good suffixes. But yeah, I'm not looking for corrupted. Unless it has like insane suffixes. Not interested. Good life, shitty suffixes. Shitty suffixes, good prefixes. All right, how about this? How about we do this? Shall we? Total percent resistance is 60. Let's just start there. This would be good if not for this guy. This has pretty good stats. The only one that's not corrupted is this guy with its life. Fine. Like, fine. We'll just do it.
Could do worse, Exile.
It has triple Eliras, some, you know, better than others, but we don't look at a gift horse in the mouth, alright? This is 33%. I can actually leave it as is, and it's probably fine. Now, for our chest links, we're going to need... I should have looked at this before I picked EVE. We need 3 reds. But we don't need 3 reds immediately, I guess. We just need this red and this red. So 2 reds. 2 reds, multiple blues. So I'm going to just go here, click 1 blue, pray, spam. Until we don't get green in here. Why am I doing 1 blue? It should be 1 red. 1 red is the least likely guy. What could be on the green spots? We do this until we don't see green. In which case, perfect. Actually perfect. So, AG, Stone Golem. We have no permanent specter, so like it's fine. Spectre. These are the 3 support minions, right? Spectre, Stone, AG. And then we have Carrion Golem going in there. But I don't think I need to worry about Carrion Golem until I have the FNF, which is not happening yet. So for now, we go Minion Life. So this gave me dexterity I needed to wear it. We'll fix that on other pieces. Namely rings, ideally. Minion Life, Spectre. Actually, we'll put Spectre here because it's easier to keep track of. Then Feeding Frenzy is where... And then we use... We don't have Empire yet. We do have Congregation, but... Alright, let's try something. Let's actually just try something. Yeah, we don't have Congregation. Oh, never mind. Minion life feeding frenzy. I could use elemental army or I could use meat shield.
Good day.
I'm leaning towards meat shield. Leaning towards meat shield. Just so they're a bit tankier. Then we eventually remove stuff. I could use a minion life guy over here. Just replace minion life. If in the long run. Could do that. Anyways. Oh, minion life is this is better. Steel skin is probably taking. Steel skin isn't in this build, so this is going to decide. So let's start from the most important pieces, and that is boots and well, rings are the most important pieces, to be fair. And the reason rings are the most important pieces. This swap is that is where I am going to be getting my dexterity from. That being said, it would have to be unset rings, which makes it a bit harder to work with. Actually, this should be 60 dexterity. Wait, isn't there reforge attribute? Yeah, there is reforge attribute, but that's not what I was thinking. Dexterity in the 50s. Remove the price limits because I fully expected divine here. $50 dex and 2 giga reses. No, prefixes are full. Oh, this dex is actually shite. This is attribute modified dex. You ain't fooling nobody. That being said, though, you do have the most res among everyone else in this area, so I'm inclined to at least, you know, entertain the idea of running that. All right, time to liquidate my mirror shard.
Well, make it happen. I'd consider that a win.
Oh, my internet is acting up, eh? Ooh. All All right, we have our first bit of EVES. We need to replace this guy. Let's look at attribute requirements real quick. We need more dexterity. So if we can solve that on my next ring as well. So we'll pick up the same ring twice, basically. So this should be limited to a divine. This one is also pretty good. But this one has minus mana cost. And that's always very nice to have. Lower all early res, lower res in general. Lower life, but minus mana cost. I believe my POB has minus mana cost. Yeah, it does. Is there anything I have to be worried about with the current mana cost? How is my curse? 13. How is despair? Also 13. Yeah, I don't think we need to worry too much about that, but let's look at automation. Page run is 17. If I get 50, that's 140. I'll need way too much dexterity. I'll take this one. Fuck it.
I'd consider that a win.
What's the core of the build? Economy is all messed up right now. The core of the build is basically going to be chaos scaling. Well, golem scaling, with chaos golem being the main minion of choice. Blood Dog, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? What's up, Lenny? How you doing? As I was saying, the core of the build is going to be chaos golem of the Maelstrom and his chaos aura, as well as having Giga explodes coming from our AG, and just trying to have a very speedy in quotes map clearer that also has decent single target. Nothing crazy, but like that's kind of the core. I wanted to make an off meta minion work, and I chose Chaos Golem with the Maelstrom pretty much. All right, we have purity? We have purity of element on the POB, so like not too worried about that. I need to think about mana reservation. Do I use an enlighten anywhere? I don't believe I do. This has a general. No, I do. Can't afford this too. This throws a wrench into the works, because I can't afford that yet. There are ways I could get around this. If I use a 3 would work, and I do have a 3 on my other character. Mana becomes a bit tighter, but it works. But then minus mana costs become a bit more important to have, and I can have them on any rings. I could use a replica Dragonfang's Flight instead, because it has reservation efficiency as well. I could drop an aura for now, but then it would have to be like, what aura would I end up dropping? Zealotry, most likely. This is 20% more dots, and this is 16% more damage. So yeah, this zealotry is the weakest link. So drop zealotry, pick up flesh and stone, or something to that effect, and go from there. Chaos Golem scaling is a pretty tall order. I'm aware. I'm aware. But that is the current plan. And I mean, we did decent work with it, because like, I don't remember if I don't think I changed anything that's too outrageous, but yeah, we have like 20 mil DPS that ramps up to 21 when we are fully ramped up on frenzy charges from Carnage Chieftain. And max with that stacks, which should take us 7 seconds to get to, or less, depending on like how congregation works with the golems, because there's every possibility that between the FNF and congregation that we can actually have 3 chaos golems of Maelstrom, in which case with that stacks up a lot quicker and we don't have to worry about that at least. So like damage is there, defenses, we're working on it. That's all I can say. We're working on it. Chaos is like the most concerning, but the reason chaos is concerning is just because I am used to having more of a life pool, and ES obviously doesn't work for chaos. I could technically do something like 30% of this does not bypass, would help a lot, but that would mean I might need some extra stun help. We'll see how it feels stun wise, but otherwise that means we have to like pick this up, which isn't great, obviously. I don't think there's isn't easier to hit ES mastery. It's just this guy, right? Energy shield mastery. Yeah, the easiest to hit is literally just this guy. I guess my jewels can also technically have stun immunity as well, right? So I can look. Oh wait, there's stun immunity here. I have like 60% is what this means. Well, it's not stun immunity, it's like stun mitigation, 60% chance to avoid it. This is a tier 1, 30, caps out 30. So yeah, have that. And hope it's enough, because I have 0 plans on being Brine King. I plan on going straight into Lunars, and I have no immutable force. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave this as is, because that'll help a lot with my situation. Because like this doesn't obviously tell the full story, because a big part of my defensive layering is Ghost Dance, and Ghost Dance doesn't say anything. But with my evasion, I should have Ghost Shrouds, and 3% of my evasion rating is huge, and this is without flasks. While I'm actively clearing, which this is a clearing build by the way, I should have 43k evasion, and at 43k evasion, 3% of that, right? It's 3%. Yeah, 3%. 3% of that evasion is 1% is 433, so 3% is 1200 ES. So whenever I do get hits, I'm going to recover 1200 ES, so on and so forth. So that's kind of a big part of my defense that isn't taken into account here. Can I even configure it? It doesn't ask me anywhere how many stacks I'm on, so I assume I just leave it alone. What's the expensive part of the build? Yes. It's not. I say that, but it's not too expensive. The expensive parts would be um the wand will be expensive to get area of effect, but getting more than an efficacy should be decent. Squire is like 4 divine, so like nothing too crazy. The body armor will run you some money because it's going to be +1 on the necrotic armor, and it's important that's necrotic because on necrotic you're getting the best evasion ES setup. And same thing with torturers on the helmets. You're basically going for as much EV ES while keeping life as as you can. And congregation is also going to be a big expensive part to get the 7th specter. 6 specters, nothing too crazy, but 7 specters will run you money for the 4. I already have the 4, so like I'm not going to pay for this. I have empower from my old build as well, so like these 2 I technically already have. I can just put them aside if I need it. Of course, you're also going to need to spend on imbues. I got my imbue or a valid imbue after like 3 tries. I have this. I also have this, but I'm not going to use it. But I have concentrated effect, which it sucks for the golem, but because we are relying on AG for Claire anyways, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. I think. I hope. I really hope. Going for greater spell echo in theory should also be. It should also be more damage if you get level 4, but that's not the best use of currency because it's marginally more damage. Why AG for Claire? Yeah, explode AG. Explode AG is also going to run you money because we're using that's where a lot of my current currency went into actually. We're using a Master of the Stitch that's currently like 16 divines, and we're using an explode chest. Explode chest depends on your luck. I got it in 2 orbs of dominance. It wasn't too crazy, but you can easily rack up in cost. I think I would say it cost me like 10 divines, 8 divines to get AG's chest. What else would I say is a very expensive part? Amanamos and 100% Darkness Enthroned. I don't know how much Darkness Enthroned will be, but 100% is very important. I will be using a 91 to start, but it's a very big damage boost to go from 91 to 100 because 100 gives you 12% dot multi per ghastly Ijo, whereas a 91 will give you, I think, 11%. So you'd be losing out on some damage coming from there. Or I would be losing out on that. And then past that, we're using 5 passive voices, which are literally less than a divine. So that's fine. FNF is also on the expensive part, depending on like the prices when you buy it. I don't have mine yet. It's with congregation, it might not be mandatory, but I haven't tested congregation, so I'm leaving both on the table. And even with congregation, it's big quality of life because of the resummoning portion, because we have golems that are not set up with defensive links, and as such, because they aren't set up with defensive links, they are the risk of dying. So if you have this, if you have the FNF, you don't have to worry about resummoning and all of that. 100% Dark Central is 9 divines. There you go. So that's another X amount of currency. So overall, build is expensive. 40 plus for the Fresh and Flame right now. Yes, I'm aware. I'm tracking their prices. But they've been dropping in price. So I'm just watching it eventually. Oh, they went up in price actually. Like I said, I don't think it's make or break. I think it's going to be good but for now, my biggest priority is just leveling up. I think those are the most expensive parts of this build. Is there anything else? We talked about AG. Spectres. We don't use any expensive Spectres, except none of these guys are expensive. None of the guys we plan on using are expensive. That's pretty much it, really. Nothing else should run you too crazy of currency, I would think. What am I cooking up? A Chaos Golem of the Maelstrom setup that we POB'd at the start of the I POB'd this basically on the lead up to the league because I wanted to have an off meta build, and I was like, I will likely use it as my second build, so I am doing just that. Punishment Curse. Throw that in there. Then Frostblink was the second one. I do have Frostblink somewhere. That's in my, yeah. Yeah, okay. This is fine. What does my dexterity look like? It looks like it's high enough to get a decent level phase run already, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. So now I need to get 1, 2, 3 while capping all reses. Res is kind of fine. 1, 2 are fine. I'll need to convert some reses here and there, but like the important thing is I get chaos res on every single piece I get from this point on. Oh, I also need to drop this guy. I almost forgot. This guy actually has to go because I plan to use a squire. So might as well prep to not have that chaos res coming from there. So we actually aren't as overcut as I thought we were, which is fine. So we're looking for lightning and chaos res. Lightning is already here. I'm doing CI Reg Defiler and didn't realize on my reflected ring I bought it has life plus per enemy hit. Oh 07. You can always just pray your accuracy is so shite you never actually hit. 07. Is there a way to counter that? I guess you could get technically plus life hit on your other ring and balance it out to 0, but that's way too much work than just replacing the ring. Also be wary of, what was the other one that it can be a killer? Minus life regen, or is it life recoup? I think both of them can be pretty harsh downsides, where you would have to counter it with a ring if you want to use it on a CI setup. So now we need to go for boots. These boots are going to have 30% movement speed. We're going to have 30 chaos res. Ellie res would be like 50. And your dex EV. And life would be in the 80 ranges. I'm willing to pay divine. So we put 300 as a max price. There was a pretty banger ring for 24D, but I'm flat broke right after finishing my last 12 passive cluster. Was minion damage ring. Was sorted by EVES. I don't want corrupted because if I get corrupted, I can get implicits. Implicits are like life regen, I guess. What implicits did I put on my boots here? Life regen and buff from stone golem. So like, we're getting a healthy amount of life regen. This is good. This one is good. It gives me a healthy amount of chaos res. And I get all the life I need. Not so much EVES, but like, how much EVES was I really getting without on boots with life, you know? Oh god, level 78. Good thing I didn't buy it. I need max level 70. Forgot to say. Alright, let's try this again, shall we? You know what? I'm gonna take corrupted boots as well. I'm gonna inspect them at least. Only problem is I would like more chaos res, so having that crafted modifier honestly makes a big difference. This is pretty decent actually. Something like this guy. I don't like that I'm sacrificing this chaos res for it though, because I could easily get 10 extra, and so I'm actually only like 5 chaos res, 3 chaos res above some of these options like this guy. I'll just take this one. Fuck it. I'll take this one. It's corrupted, but like it's an interim piece anyways. I don't plan on using it long term. Purity of Elements is still on, right? Yes, it is. So we are currently sitting at a fuck ton of fire res that needs... How do I... Okay, we can switch fire res on the rings. We don't have to worry too much. Fire res switch to lightning. Fire to lightning. Hey mate, I'm playing on console. Is your build many buttons or simple? My dominating blow build is how many buttons? You have to dominating blow, you have to vow, you curse, you dash. Well, you leap slam, so that's all your mobility in one skill. Dominating blow is more buttons than a typical build. If you want a low button build, I recommend a pure Spectre build. This build will be low buttons, but this build is also not... I wouldn't recommend it without certain pieces like an Explode AG. So, and if you're on console, that might be a bit harder to set up. Simply because stuff like Mask of the Stitch is going to be even more expensive there, and that shit's already expensive here. I'm looking fire to lightning, right? That's what I said. 500, of course, is the one thing I don't have. All right, we need blue juice. I really should just buy a Divine of those, but... Yeah, that's almost done. I'm going to make sure my gloves are not corrupted so I can switch as well, because this is actually quite limited. But I need Chaos Res here, Chaos Res here. I need a lot of Chaos Res here. So this one needs to have crafted suffixes with Chaos Res and Chaos Res. So I can get a very healthy amount of Chaos Res here. I'm going to switch this Cold Res to Lightning Res. Would be the best way to balance my build all around, I think, on the Ellie Res portion. Then Chaos Res, Ellie Res, Ellie Res. I need slightly more of all attributes, but like, that's not too important, I don't think. And then we need to look at my wand past that. 50% minion Ellie res, 67% minion damage, minus 70% lightning res. Downside is minus 11 life, which is fine. 11 cost to non-channeling skills. That's probably fine. That's fine as well. That's actually a pretty good ring. Though I guess if you are going to use a Calandra's touch, that might not be enough minus lightning res. But if you're on the Mage Blood setup, does that setup use Melding? I think it does. So Melding can take you all the way. All right, let's do gloves on Melding. Yeah, so that would have been enough. That's actually a really good rig, because 25% attack, cast speed, and minion damage. That's woo. That'd be really good on Defilers. All right, let's switch to gloves. Steel EVES. Ideally, only thing we need is life and chaos res. I think I want 40 chaos res minimum. This should be on the cheaper side, to be honest. So we bump up this to like 100. Gloves are typically on the cheaper side to begin with. Start this by Chaos Res. I don't want the ward base. $250 Chaos Orbs. Assassin's Myths. It does have increased evasion ES, and it does have what I wanted in the hybrid, as well as Chaos Res. But like the Chaos Res is kind of on the meh side, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to reduce the early res requirements to like 35. Someone already yoinked it. 07. Yeah, so we have 47% Chaos Res, 47% early res. Good life. Again with this ward base, man. This has good life, evasion ES. That's not bad. This is exactly what I would like. That's exactly what I want. And it's evasion ES, no ward, just confirming.
I'd consider that a win.
And then we increase the lightning chaos res because that's not the max tier we could have. We get up to 15. So everything is overcapped for the helmets, which is beautiful. Now all I need from the helmet is another set of like 45% res. I think 40, yeah, 40, literally 45. If I can get 45 helm, 45 chaos res with level of all minion skills and some life ideally, we're golden. My helmet doesn't have reservation, right? Yeah, I didn't go for a reservation. That's fine. Be corrupted? No, you are not. I could actually get Fizz taken as well. Remove that guy. Helmet. It's expensive, but the fact that I can opt for Feeding Frenzy and be on Spectre Gem instead of getting the minions the aggressive one is so nice. Yep, it is insane. And the opportunity cost of imbues is way less because it's a level 1 gem anyways. So like you're missing out on maybe 25% more damage on certain gems, but on most gems it's like 20% more damage. And like when you have Doriani and a fully blown high budget setup, it's not that crazy. Have you tried Perfect Conjurer of Rots? It casts Malevolence and a ton of extra poison minions. I haven't tried using it. I've seen it and I considered it, but its Malevolence is just strictly worse than the players, and we are scaling aura effects, which is why we are going for Malevolence ourselves. In terms of, we can actually look at it real quick because I think Dominator should have a video on it. Because like I saw the non-corpse versions on his YouTube. So let's see. So he brought the he did the whatchamacallit, the Karuri ones, the War Collar. He's not showing War Collar. Does he already have War Collar? War Collar is really good for leveling. But yeah, this is Conjurer of Rot for those who may not know. Oh, this is loud. Okay, let's take this down a bit. We'll put... Let's take this quality up, shall we? Also, I didn't know Red Files can use chain support. For some reason, I thought it had to have chain by default. It just has to have. Well, there are a few things it has to not have for a minion. For one, it stuff like phantasms can't chain because they pierce. And if it pierces, chain happens in a further part of the equation, or it happens after pierce. So they will never chain, as an example. So the minion has to not have like innate perma piercing, and they need to not have a modifier that actively is stopping it from being from using chain. And you wouldn't know that unless you like see its POEDB, and in this case it has nothing of the such. So yeah, it can chain. You can give it baseline chain, so long as it doesn't have the, oh, this cannot chain or something else. It's fine. Oh wow, what a time for ad breaks to start. That is not good, actually. I was about to show this. All right, we're going to keep fiddling around with gear, and then when ads are done, we'll come back to the video. Just remind me. We didn't find a helmet for this, right? Was it price related? No, something is off. What is off? So I'm glad I told you to check out using chain support if you wanted to do breach. Chain feels really nice. Back in like last season, was it? Awaken chain on them. Ooh, chef's kiss. Because like the less damage multiplier I had was obviously way less with Awaken chain, and I think it gained one more chain, so it would have been perfect for this league if they did remove, you know, Awaken gems and all that. Still kind of salty about it, but it's all good. I feel like I opted for, nah, it's a Dexint helmet. Let me see. I felt like there was something that it boosted. I guess that's probably PoE2 that I'm thinking about. All right, I'm going to do 30% chaos res. I feel like I'm missing something that's making this impossible. I just don't know what it is yet. But like something like, let's go with this guy. 2 divines. This is honestly not bad. I would, however, like to remove this, but I can't. And in the ideal universe, yeah, something like this is good, but I'm not paying that much, my guy. It's not happening. All right, take me to the +1s real quick. We'll craft our own +2 when we have eye level 84, or when we have character level 84. Till then, we go for chaos res, we go for life. And I think this is fine. I'll just go for bench crafted chaos res aside it. He used empower to hit level 30 instead of minion damage support. If you're on frost bearers, I would say go for it. If you're on defilers, I would say no. Minion damage is a very big DPS boost, way more than empower. But on specters like frostbearers who have defensive issues, who are just baseline squishy, empower has the added benefit of making them tankier, so that is big. But on defilers, they already have good baseline, and like my tree already takes specter defense into account. Doesn't scale too much into it, but it touches it here and there enough to where you shouldn't have issues with defilers. So even though minion damage makes them squishier, it's still worth it. But like I said, if it's Frostbearers, skip it. All right, ads are done. And we're kind of done with everything we need to do regarding this. Not yet. Chaos. There, we're capped. All right, let's look at the Spectre now that ads are done. I know it summons like a bunch of tiny things, like sub minions, and then it has a meteor. Lots of mosquitoes. Wait, doesn't have the meteor skill? Oh, I didn't notice it. The meteor skill instead produces blood boils on the perfect conjure of rot. Interesting. The one from the base Mirage has the meteor. But yeah, as a support Spectre, it has a pretty decent malevolence, and like in most builds I would use it. The only reason I don't use this is just because of how rough the damage on Chaos Golem is. So I'm trying to squeeze out as much damage. Like I'm literally trying to just wring out as much damage as I can from the freaking Golem. That's the big reason. We're losing this dexterity, so we should be aware of that as well. It's a very PoE2 like Spectre, but it's fun, I bet. It has a lot of stuff it's doing, which is always nice to have. Sucks as it sucks that we didn't get a DPS Spectre. I was kind of hoping we would. That's the one part of like the season that I really wanted. Honestly, I'm going to keep this one for the next time I level. It's a pretty good leveling piece. This one is okay, but it's nothing so crazy that I need to feel the need to keep for next time. This one was good for attributes though. It was good for attributes and res. You sure. I have nothing against it. All right, it's time to figure out link coloring. So like I said, Carrion Golem is not on this setup right now. And none of you are blue. So what we're going to do instead is you're going on my gloves. As we expected, that's going to be red, green, double blue. Should not be hard to get. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make that my boots. If I get 1 red, 3 blue, or 2 blue, 1 red, 1 green, then, you know, life is good. I'm going to put 1 red because bingo. Now I just need to work on, yeah, 3 link socket is fine. Cool. Where's despair? Despair goes here. Generosity. And lighting goes here. So this should be 4 blue. Yeah, 4 blue. Actually, generosity is fine for the meantime. When I plan on using a lighting 2. Never mind. Lighting 3 rather. Ooh, 4 blue. So despair, zealotry, and malevolence. Malevolence. Zealotry, and then Enlighten goes in here. What do we have here? Purity of Elements. Purity of Elements goes somewhere else. And then for the weapon, I still need to figure out the weapon. You are going for 2 blues. 2 blues, 1 red, 1 green. There. Purity of Elements, Ice Golem, Flame Golem. Lightning Golem goes in here. But I think we don't have the Golem space for it. Because currently, we can have 5 Golems, right? 5. With a 5 Golem limit, that is 2 Chaos and 3. This is an off horde, so it actually has 2 extra that it shouldn't have. So yeah, I can only have 1 non off hordes, and that's going to be Stone Golem. Until we congregation it up, of course. Then, as a cheap alternative, the value seems to be 1 to 2% higher than the values listed on POEDB. Really? Adherent of Xerox scales really well with levels. Good to know. Yeah, I did notice this one. Because he Malay violence. Kind of funny. All right, what was I saying? We're talking about wand. So starting out, we can go for the whole Awakener Orb wand, call it a day. We can do that, but we are not going to. What we're going to do instead is socketed more spell damage wand. We're going to just run a wand that has this. Let's see if we can find one with efficacy. If we can, beautiful. Like if we can just buy it outright without making it ourselves, sure. Sign me up. So the first one was the right efficacy, yeah? Yeah, this is the correct one. But yeah. I can just start off with buying it, literally just this wand. Getting myself socketed +2 because it has an open prefix, and call it a day. Later on, I get the next link. Is there anyone with a convoking wand? Convening wand, rather. Surely somebody has it on a convening wand somewhere, right? There we go. Something like this. Just for the extra minion, they'll increase damage because we need all the damage we can get currently.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
And then we benchcraft +2. Socketed. And then we can go for the remaining 2 links later on when we want to spend a bit more. But for now, this should be fine. What is this white number? Is that number of support gems? Probably just shows as a link anyways. Why do they look like they're bigger? Did I change something? Is it just me? They look bigger. Yeah, dropping control destruction of minion damage for chain is less damage, but in many situations it's worth the less damage. Just because you don't actually need insane damage while you're clearing. For if you want to uber boss, then yeah, you want to switch back. But other than like uber boss situations, I don't really need it. Chain imbue. I don't know that you want chain imbue though. The problem with chain imbue, right? The problem with chain imbue is, doesn't the less damage multiplier reduce with levels? And less damage multiplier is a lot more potent than more damage multiplier. So a 20% less damage is counted by like a 25% more damage, something along those lines. So your first priority should be getting as little negative damage as you can for DPS, and then prioritizing more damage. So going from getting an imbue would be 30, which is not great. Not to mention, this would mean going for green imbues, which if you get void manipulation, your rectifiers literally do no damage. So I think you're better off going for a blue imbue and just running chain. Not to mention, you can also just have chain in a swap with like Pierce instead of committing to an imbue. Make sense? All right, so we have concentrated effect, which means we are going for the increased AoE. Control destruction. Gems. Void manipulation? No. Swift affliction? No. Okay, we're just going to be buying them then. Swift. Minion damage is already there. We need an empower in here. Otherwise, the +2 is kind of lackluster. Wait. But the empower is supposed to go for my specters. I'm going to need a second empower is what that means. Someone mentioned something, so let's just price check it real quick. Let's price check it, all right? Empower 4 is how much? 10 divine still. Awakened Empower 4 is how much? Still 10 divines. Okay, so they're the same price. Someone mentioned that this was cheaper than getting an Empower 4. So I just had to check just in case. What are we doing? We don't have the +1 to specters, but it would still be nice to be able to hit level 25 raise specter. That said, it's not as much of a priority just yet. We want to get as high as possible, but like there's going to be a bigger swap when we get to level 84 and we can actually use proper gear. Till then, all right, for now though, we're going in here. We're going to take the Enlighten. I'm going to take the Empower. We're taking these two. I need to be very, very aware of the simple fact that I can no longer go to my hideout on this character. It is very imperative that I do not go to my hideout on this character, because then I would lose a Spectre. And I'll just push these down just in case. I'm going to remove my boots. It's the first indicator for me whenever I log in that the character might not have everything they need. And then empower. Where's empower again? Where did I use this empower? It was here, right? Yes. Now enlighten. Did I buy an enlighten? Yes, I did. It's also there. Cool. Outweighed by being able to equip 20 minion damage though, right? You mean the imbued downside? I would say you would get more damage overall if you go for 2020 chain over 2020 minion damage. Assuming you have chain on both setups, that is. Because a level 1 chain is 30% less damage. That will outrightly counter your level 20 minion damage. You will need a bit more than a level 20 minion damage to counter the 30% less coming from the chain. But 11% less is considerably more damage and will allow you to benefit, or to be on average you should have more damage, if that makes sense. That being said, I would say look at your other gems. Minion damage might not be the first you have to remove. Look for 34%. So I know in my case 34% would be like void manipulation and stuff, but like there are other 34% as well that could be there, like elemental army or faster casting, stuff like that. So check to see if there's like, if you're missing out on if there's a 34% you could replace it with instead of 39%. We need 1 red. What is your obsession with green? Give me red. Not that many. Not on the first one. Not on the first one. God damn it. Sure. Chaos Golem, Empower, Minion damage, Swift, Controlled, AoE. We can use Void Manip instead of AoE as well. That is always an option.
Hail God Slayer.
Honestly, I am leaning towards... I am leaning towards Void Manipulation over this and just fully relying on whatchamacallit. Fully relying on AG. I'm going to need Lightning Golem over Stone Golem here, because I'm relying on Lightning Golem for... What am I spelling? I'm relying on Lightning Golem for mana regen instead of clarity. Where's ice? Those are my 2 of hordes. They do look bigger, that's what I'm saying. They're like my size now. Now granted, they don't have my skin, so I'm going to slap that back on them. Anyways, now we just need to worry about our automation loop. Our automation loop looks like what? Blue, blue, green. So we just have to worry about blue, blue, green. Two blues, 1 green. That's all I need. Okay, so we have convocation, automation,
God Slayer. Good day.
phase run, and cooldown recovery support. That one will be on the pricier side. This is going to show me a level 4 cooldown recovery. Let's just see how much that is first and foremost. Let's just offer it. See, 18 divines. Okay, we're not going for that as we expected. How about a 3? A 3 was 4 divines yesterday. Oh, sure. That's a price fixer. All right, cool. We're not touching a corrupted that doesn't have 20% quality. Let's just start there. This is missing 1%. If that's the difference between... Yeah, we'll do 1%. Screw it. All right. Yeah, if we want to do sunlight, then it doesn't want to work. That's because we don't have this wheel, which means we need to rethink this tree. I think we'll just leave without zealotry for now. In zealotry's place, we're gonna run skitterbots.
God Slayer.
If we can afford it, of course. We can. Cool. So skitterbots is going to take zealotry space. Desecrate is not currently needed, but I'm going to keep it anyways. Efficacy is probably not going to be needed. The swap should be void manipulation. Manipulation. Cool. AG. Spectres. The most important spectre of them all is Hawking Miscreation. So let's go summon him. Also, before I forget, actually, this is core. Automaton. 20% quality. Convocation. 20% quality. Cool. Next, we'll find the Hawking Miscreation. He is the most important spectre we have, followed by, we have Gilded Arak. I don't know that the Gilded Arak is insane for us, if I'm being honest. Who else? Perfect Thunderbird is also very clutch, so that's where the bulk of our evasion is coming from. And we also need to work on our... We need to work on our... whatchamacallit. I think realistically, I just switched trees completely. I think that's probably the play. Though currently, I feel like I'm getting more life from my tree. I actually have no proof of this. All right, in that case, let's just... The problem is I'm going from here left, which means if I'm going this and this, I'm not going to make it this far. That's just the truth. I'm not making it that far. I could take off all of this potentially, lose out on this, could be, but I also lose out on life here. Yeah, I think I'd end up with less life overall if I switch trees. So I'll use this for now. I'll use this for now. We don't have as much evasion as we should as a result, but like kind of fine. Wait, what? I chose increase evasion per 10 int. Dex has no bonus to evasion, and I actively lose evasion by doing so. Huh. Okay. So we leave this mastery out of it because this mastery apparently is just better without it. I think we're going to increase evasion while you have energy shield. I think that's a more important thing for me. Yeah, that ended up with me having decent evasion. Good thing I checked. Or I could also click this. If I click this instead, ES goes up. I'm going to increase evasion while I have ES. That's fine. I think there was something I wanted to do with 3 points. I just don't remember what the 3 points were going to be. Can you don't remember? But oh well. Anywho, perfect this Thunderbird, and who will be my third Spectre? Because I can have 3 currently. I think I can have 3. I think I'll go Judgmental Spirit, get all the defensive guys in place so I can actually level. And then we'll go from there. Thunderbird, and then Judgmental Spirits. I just don't have Ghost Shroud, which is unfortunate, but like it's fine. We'll live. Then eventually we'll switch our tree when we level up to 84. That's the current game plan. Because I really don't want to lose life if I have a choice. I also don't have a source of endurance charges currently, so perfect warlord would actually be pretty chill. But also, nah. Not right now, at least. All right, in terms of expense, it's you. Then you. I was so confused for a second. And now all the peace of mind we had is all gone thanks to Mr. Rose every how many seconds? I didn't see her on the floor, but like I knew she was there. Cool. Now I'm just going to throw in a map because we're capped on everything. We can actually go into maps again. We're going to throw in a T6 map. We're level 70. Let's just go straight to T10. Why not? I want to keep it. Yeah, I'm fine with this. I want to keep it blue for now. And Haunted Mansion. It's still T11, eh? Let's take this guy out. What are you? T7. There we go. Now, are we going to die in this map? There is a good chance we do. But let's see. What is going on with my health? The big disadvantage of the convocation setup as is I kind of have to stay around the enemies. When we have enough damage to just blow everything up, it will feel good. Because like, and when we're actually running juice content that has a lot more pack size, we have so much to gain from levels as well. So I would say this is already huge. All right, let's go into red map, shall we? Let's, if it didn't kill us, let's go further. Turtle. You see, it would have been very smart of me to pick up a turtle. It would have been very smart. It would have been the logical thing to do. Is it what I did? Fuck no. Would have been the logical thing to do though. I should get a turtle though. 100%. Especially if leveling is my goal. Oh yeah, this is empty. How much is it? Is an Amanamus? Probably expensive, right? Now that I think about it. Okay. Holy. How much do I actually have? 26. How about I get the second ghastly Icho first before we look at our mana moves? Probably should even use the red belt at this point, because what the fuck? We'll find the other belt first, and then we'll come back for the mana moves. Max life. Chance to avoid stun. 28. Minion regen. Additional lightning damage is kind of meh, but this is exactly what I'm looking for. So I will be buying you for 10 GCPs. Weird that you're listening for 10 GCPs, but I'll buy it anyways.
I'd consider that a win.
Now we have that guy, so we have a decent amount of chance to avoid stun. Now we have to think to ourselves, are we biting the bullet and spending on an Amanamus? I want to say the answer is no. Do I actually know that the answer is no though? 10 freaking divines. That is a shit ton of doubloons, my guy. Actually, it's 11. It's 11 divines. And I still have a big crafting session ahead of me. The good news is I'm close to I mean, I have like 36 million value in bars. I just need like literally 14 mil more for a full 50 bar shipments, no dust. So like very soon I'll have a big influx in currency, but very soon isn't now, you know? That's the problem. I'll train it a white C16 map. Let's do that. Let's hope we don't die. That's the best thing we can hope for. I also want to do Haunted Mansion because it would just be better for my pups. Woo! That is some damage. Should I actually be using Lightning Golem over Stone Golem? That is actually another question.
I need more mana.
I lost a golem. I don't know which one. I think I lost lightning, which is who I actually wanted to remove, so it all works out. All right, we leveled up just in time. We'll try Polaric Invitation after this map to see what single target currently looks like, even with our limited amount of damage. Woo! That was a tormented delve rock. Maybe we have a bit too much CDR on Convocation as well. Now, we're not going to touch altars right now. That's a death sentence waiting to happen. Cool. We just need levels for defenses and we're chilling. Let's see what single target looks like. Yeah, should I be starting with that guy or should I be going to that other one? I feel like the other one is better. Also, we're missing a part. Wait, chill. We need another Primordial Harmony. Because we have this guy, but it's empty and I, don't have anything there, so. 250 chaos? Sure. If you're going to give me a perfect golem damage with reduced bleed duration, I will actually take it.
Seems every dog has.
Because it's perfect. I still need some anti... So that's triple bleed. So I shouldn't have to worry about bleeds anymore. I still need to worry about poison. Potentially stun. I'll figure that out as we go.
Maven, the challenge begins. The champion will fall. Simulacrum. Deep space. Solar storm.
Need to stay here.
Deep space. Astral avalanche.
Ooh! Wrong side. I also need to turn off my automation, I think.
Replica.
Because my DPS uptime is actually not great.
Storm. Your champion has fallen.
Expected. My DPS uptime is not great because I'm constantly convocating. So now it should be better DPS uptime.
Deep space. Astral avalanche. Your champion has fallen.
Did they really decide to do that while Astral Avalanche was going on? Okay.
Simulacrum. Starflare. Deep space. The cleansing fire prevails.
It's mine.
Okay. Do I not spawn with 0 of the debuff? Because I felt like I was already on 10 when I spawned in there. Oh, I
Starflare.
don't. Okay. The more you know.
Solar storm.
Ooh, please, please, please leave.
Starflare. Astral avalanche. Replica. Deep space. Solar storm. Your champion has fallen.
You're gonna die.
Starflare. Astral avalanche. The cleansing fire prevails.
It was so close. All right. Fair. Fair. All right, let's actually go level then. Let's do Haunted Mansion because the layout is... Well, I envisioned this build in Haunted Mansion as I was playing Dawn Blow because I wanted the pops and I didn't know if I wanted to actually invest into... Don't tell me that's a fucking Starfall crater. I forgot to turn on our convocation. Yes, I did. All right. My bad. Forgot. Oh, God. Wait, what was that stutter? This is going to kill me. But I'll be damned if I don't try. Turn off convocation. This is one of those situations where I think I see what the problem was with the Polaric invites, and that is I think it was the AoE on the golems versus how much they moved.
Not many live to see this technique.
This is going to be the longest Black Knight I've gotten in a while. Either something didn't render or something didn't render there. I have no idea which it was, but I'm pretty sure something didn't render.
Not many live to see this technique.
I need more mana.
Show me what you got. I think you'll appreciate this one.
Aren't you phasing?
Steel yourself, warrior. Let's you handle this. Ah, I think you'll appreciate this one.
Ooh. Oh, my golems are dying. So the flame died, so I lost a decent chunk of damage there.
Brave this.
I also lost a chaos golem.
I think you'll appreciate this one. Let's see you handle this.
All right, before we go back in, let's just make sure. Let's do a roll call. One. We can't even afford it, eh? All right. Now we can. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's exactly how many we expect to see.
Not many live to see this technique. Steel yourself, warrior.
God damn it.
Show me what. Ha! I can truly fight at full strength against you.
We don't have Calling Strike yet, do we? No, we don't.
Satisfactory. Until next time.
Shirley, drop his filing. Shirley. Invested by build for me. God damn it. All right. Fair. We've only seen once filing since the end of Settlers League, and that was. Do we have it on? Yes, we do. That was this league actually, unironically.
Ready, Exile?
Einhard, this is not the fucking time. Sometimes I wish you could block Einhard. That was sometimes. I feel like there's no. It's not like there's no point. When my build is strong enough, I don't care. But you see this moment, Einhard? Get the fuck out of my map. You are not welcome. This guy will kill me, I suspect. June? I feel like
Need more mana.
I don't like June in my maps when I'm still like weak and leveling and all of that. But like June. I know when it comes to June, I kill 2 unique enemies, or I die in the process, and I know I don't have to deal with June anymore. But Einhar, it doesn't matter if you've captured one, if you ignored it, if you studied the encounter, none of that shit matters. It's just now you deal with it. Like now I'm going to run somewhere in my map and I'm going to see another one. So like June is annoying, just not Einhar annoying. All right, that's a level up. We should probably do lower tier content until we are ready, but that has never stopped me. What should I actually be doing here? I really want to get here because this is a big part of our defensive layering. And I think I should be prioritizing that. But at the same time, like realistically, all I need to do is just run lower tier content until my character is a bit more leveled up and can handle what I need. Because I need to get to level 84 ASAP. And without evasion, I'm very susceptible to damage. Without ghost dance rather, because I need ES to actually mitigate stuff.
We will be best friends until we slaughter you with your survivor. Or you will.
The good news is actually kill that beast. The bad news is that I don't really care to kill the beast. I just want Einhard to not bother me. But this is good XP though. Maybe I should make a breach tree just for leveling. That's not a bad idea. I'm already 50% to level 73. So like we're making good progress even with the occasional deaths. What else is a thin layer? Toxic sewers would have been perfect for this. But we don't have toxic sewers. This is fine. But I'm saying the problem with thin layouts like this is there's just no dodging room. Also, I should fix my flasks. 100%. I should do this. You guys are fine. I'm just going to go until I see a usable. Oh. Shit. T1 armor. Let's go. Flasks. Stibnites. Actually, this earlier, and I should probably use a jade flask because I don't have that much flats evasion yet. So go for an eye level 84 jade flask. That already just rolled with increased evasion. Okay. And then last but not the least, we go for granites. We have armor, we have movement speed, we have stun, we need evasion. That's 50% stun. Okay, you're gonna get rerolled. We need evasion, my dude. We need evasion. I'm hoping for a higher tier improve like evasion. I mean, at this rate, I just might have to accept whatever evasion I get. There. Was that so hard? Charges reach full. Charges reach full. I have CB immunity. I don't think I need bleed immunity. Like, I have like 70% reduced duration of bleed, so this should be...
I need more mana.
Oh no. I don't have mastery anymore. Am I even close to a mastery on my current POB? I feel like I am. I'm not too close, but I am.
They are coming.
You're there. Fine. Choose what you wish.
Increase XP, sure.
Back alive.
God damn it, burning ground. Burning ground immunity. I'll go Soul of Lunaris. What the fuck was that left turn before we went straight? I wonder how small the AoE around my golem is with conk effects and no increased AoE. Because like in the long run, I plan on having increased AoE on my main hand as a link, so like the AoE shouldn't be too bad. But I also just don't think I've seen the current size of it.
The hour is later than you think, mortal.
Come on.
I need more mana.
All right. Do we try to kill that guy? Fucking tormented? I don't think it's worth the XP. All right, so as for the things we're going to be doing next, I need to get to level 84 so I can actually craft gear that I can use. Honestly, In the interim, I should change the implicit on these to face taken as elemental to reduce the amount of face damage I'm currently taking, because I'm taking a lot of face damage. I also need an Amanamu's Gaze, but I think that as a priority is just, it's not as priority in my opinion. Like it's good DPS, but like it's not that big. Because my biggest concern right now is survivability, and we overall need more of a hit pool and more ES regen. We currently have no ES regen, which brings me to my next. Should I just... This could also be ES regen, because I have 0 regen on this build. But I think realistically, this is the best bet to increase my Chaos Max hits. And then fully... I need to get to start relying on Ghost Dance, because it's a key defensive layer that I plan to engage with. Because as you can see right now, we basically have 3k life, whereas we should have 4500, because we do have a healthy amount of evasion currently. 10k, 3% isn't as big, it's closer to 300, but 300 ES regen whenever we get hit is still better than nothing. And then there's Watcher's Eye. We need to actually get our Watcher's Eye, which is going to also be chance to evade, as well as PDR for the turtle, which we also do not have. So we have a lot to make up for on this setup. Actually a lot. Starting with Spectres, I think, and other things. Anyways, all this to say, we're going to be back tomorrow. I will likely still be close to this area because I don't have that much playtime between today and tomorrow. But tomorrow's stream, we're going to be focusing on leveling and hopefully sending a shipment as well. That is going to be the second goal for tomorrow's stream. Either or, both of them, I plan to try the hits and we'll go from there essentially. But anyways, had a lot of fun. Build is shaping up. I'm very curious to see how it feels in the end game. I'm going to have to figure out the convocation feeling. There is going to be a balance in convocation CDR and automation that I think will feel amazing. I just need to figure out what that is. If it's more convocation CDR for Claire, or if it's just removing convocation from automation and just going that. We'll see. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow. Till then, have a good night.